Is it going? I'm here today to go over the instructions for the Dyslexia Station for the Diverse Disabilities Day. The first thing that we're going to do is go over some information with the students in the group first. For one, we'll tell a little bit about dyslexia. Dyslexia can make it tough to read and spell. It doesn't mean that you're not smart enough. Plenty of smart and talented people have dyslexia. Even before kindergarten, a child with dyslexia can have a difficult time learning their letters and sounds. Kids that have dyslexia at times get frustrated and even angry or sad because reading and spelling might be a little bit difficult for them. They might get upset and feel a little bit different because they have to be in a different reading group or see a different reading teacher that the other students in their classroom do not see. But it's important to make sure that they understand that seeing another teacher or being in a different group will help them later on in life. Because a person with dyslexia and how their brain works, they are often very creative and skilled in arts and sports and can think of solutions that others may not. So what you're going to do in your station is demonstrate a little bit about how a person with dyslexia's brain works and how a person without dyslexia's brain works. So I have two decks of cards. In this deck of cards, I have all of the same all of the cards together. So I have all the aces together, all the twos together, threes together, and so on. So what you're going to do is you're going to explain that the deck of cards represents a brain, and each card represents a piece of information stored in our brain. Our brain usually will store information like this. Like I previously explained, all the aces, lay them down, all the twos, threes, fours, fives, sixes, sevens, eights, and so on. Okay, until you have the whole deck laid out. Call on a student to come up and ask a student to pick the ace of hearts. More than likely, it will only take a few seconds for them to go straight to the aces, find the ace of hearts, and pull it out. When that happens, you're going to discuss about how it was a really quick process to find it, and that you went straight to the aces and pulled out the ace of hearts. And that's how a person without dyslexia, that's how their brain works. They will file the information and they can quickly process that information and retrieve that information. Now, with a different set or different deck of cards, you're going to demonstrate how a person with dyslexia's brain works. So this is representing also the brain, and then each card is representing a piece of information, except this is a student with dyslexia. You're going to take the cards, spread them all out, and then ask the student, or ask a student, to come up and find the ace of hearts. Now, while the student is trying to find the ace of hearts, make connections about some of the cards. So maybe if they pick up a queen of clubs, yes, a queen, but it's not an ace. So you just put it in the stack. After just a little bit of time, you may present to the group that yes, it's going to take a little bit longer for students with dyslexia to process all the information, which represents each card, and then retrieve that information from their brain. Okay? So we have to rely on different strategies and interventions to help us easily pull that information out or process that information and retrieve it from our brain if you are a child with dyslexia. Okay? That is going to be the demonstration for the activity that day. If time permits, on the form that will be provided in the bucket along with the cards, and also a poster of how dyslexia can affect the different areas, for example, reading, writing, spelling, vocabulary. You can also spend a minute or two going over and showing them how it affects all those different areas. If time permits after that, you will have a link to a YouTube video that discusses what it's like for a child with dyslexia and parents with children with dyslexia, what it's like going through that process and going through school.